Hey, welcome to Wolf's Watch for this special edition on an amazing Thursday. And we have with us Joe DiChiara from the East Coast. We got East Coast and West Coast coming together to bring you information to thrive in the post-COVID economy. And Joe is joining us to talk about, how to increase your income and pay yourself, increase your cash flow and pay yourself more as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. Joe, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jeff. This is my pleasure. You know I love talking, especially about saving people money.
Absolutely. If you've been with Wolf's Watch since the beginning, Joe and I check in for once in a while. Joe's a CPA. He runs an incredible mastermind group, helping entrepreneurs build their businesses to, and the saying goes, increase your cash flow and pay yourself more. I love the sound of that. Joe, I just want to ask real quick as we're getting started, what are a couple of the big mistakes that you see entrepreneurs making, especially now that we're moving into the post-COVID economy?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because we make a lot of mistakes, Jeff, right? We all make them. I make them. I'm an entrepreneur just like you, and I'll continue to make them. But the biggest mistake that people make when they get into business is they don't pay attention to their numbers. And that's what we do.
Yes.
And I understand that a big part of it is because people don't understand them and they're afraid of them. And they're at a distinct disadvantage because of that. And that is, and it might sound self-serving because I'm a CPA, but that's the truth. It goes back to your numbers.
I see that in big companies too. I see that in big companies too, where they don't know their numbers, or they're tracking the wrong numbers. I mean, look at General Motors is one of my favorite examples. They basically bankrupted the company on $130 billion a year in sales. How do you do that with that kind of cash flow? Talk about not knowing your numbers.
Well, I'll give you another example that always impressed me. And it was when Apple was on the verge of bankruptcy. And they said, we're going to run out of cash in 3 months. And they're doing billions of dollars in business. I'm like, how did they know that? How? Because they had to. They're still around because of it, right?
Yes. And one of the biggest challenges in business is getting sales in the door. The second biggest challenge is then collecting on it and managing the money.
Well, I agree. I had one of the biggest problems I ever encountered was that I had too much business coming in. It sounds crazy, but when QuickBooks was created, I put an ad in the paper, my phone was ringing off the hook. And it almost destroyed me. I wasn't ready. So I try to tell people, what if your marketing works? What if it works and the floodgates start? And like you said, 130 billion in sales, and they went bankrupt. So think about that.
Yeah. We saw that happen with a grocery chain here in California. They started to expand really fast, and they couldn't scale and handle the business.
Yeah. It's not easy. It's a balancing act, but the truth is that the same principles apply to micro businesses. The minute somebody starts a business, you got tax write-offs. You got stuff that you're not even aware of. People are leaving money on the table. Okay, a lot of money, because they just don't have the tools and the resources and the right information. And that's what I try to provide, the right information.
Absolutely. And knowing the numbers is a big part of that, knowing what to do with them. Seems like that would does that follow on as know your numbers and then
Yeah.
know what to do with them, what they mean?
I had an epiphany a couple of weeks ago, to be honest with you, and I'm evolving like everyone else. You know me a long time, and I woke up one day. I focused on the business. I said, you need a business foundation, and that's what we're going to provide you with. And I said, well, what happens when they make the money? What are they doing with it? I never asked my clients. I said, well, now you made the money. What exactly are you doing with it? I stayed out of that end of the business, even though I have a lot of knowledge in it, insurance, investments. So we said, we're really money people. And when I say we, it's not just me. It's my team. It's people in the mastermind, the people I surround myself with. It's resources. If I don't know something, I'll tell somebody or I'll send them to somebody that I know, like, and trust. So we pivoted, yep. Okay. And John and his ACT program, and that's brought me a long way because I kept asking people, what do you want? Why do you want that? And you drill it down and it becomes, I want a business to have money, but then I want to keep it. They want to know what to do with it, right?
I was like, it may sound funny, but as and as you're watching this, that may sound funny. As an entrepreneur, though, seriously, it is even harder to hold on to the money. Once, as hard as it is to get it, it's even harder to hold on to.
And that's a tragedy. It's like you worked so hard to create this dream business, right? And now you have all this, you have the money. How many rock stars and lottery winners wind up in rehab? They weren't ready for it. They didn't plan on it. Mm-hmm. They didn't have a plan for it. Craig one year had the bass player from what's that small band that he toured with? Guns N' Roses. Do you remember
Guns
that?
N' Roses? Duff McKagan.
Yeah. Duff McKagan. Okay.
I do. I remember that. It was what a great conversation.
Oh my! I thought he was going to play for us, and he talked about Wall Street because he realized, he was like, "Oh my God, I had all this money," and so he went and got a master's degree, and then I think he opened up a fund, and it's hard to believe the guy from Guns N' Roses is a financial advisor now.
Yeah, and he two huge rock bands, Guns N' Roses, and then Velvet Revolver after that. So then he even wrote a column, didn't he? A finance column in
he was writing for I think
at one of the community colleges.
Yeah, it was like, wait a second, aren't you a rock star? But he's one of the lucky ones. He realized. I got all this money now. What the heck do I do with it?
Yes.
And he took it another step further. He started teaching people what they could do with it. And that's really, I think, what it comes down to, Jeff. We're all just teachers and students, right?
Absolutely. We have to be students. And I see that it seems to be. Is that a common thread with successful entrepreneurs, that they really have a student or curiosity and learning mentality?
I cut out this article. It was this guy who was the oldest man in the world. I think he was 115. I still have it. Whoa. I share it sometimes. Yeah, 115. And when he was like 93, he signed up for this 3-year course about learning to love yourself or something. And his friend said, you're 93. What do you do? And he said, I don't ever want to stop learning. Okay. And he lived like another 20 years. So I'm like, that's what I aspire to. I'm like, I don't ever want to think I know everything. It's impossible. Mm-hmm. Right. So we just keep learning and growing, and we pass it along. That's what the masterminds are. right? It's just
Yes.
a pool of knowledge.
Pool of knowledge, and other people, holding me accountable. I like the masterminds I'm involved with because, there's some accountability to it. There's an opportunity to share ideas and get feedback and those questions that I hear all too often, like, what made you think that was a good idea?
And also you get to see people grow and evolve, like Eldana. I'm like, she's in Africa right now,
Yes.
serving women that you're like, how did that happen?
The ever intrepid Eldana Lewis Fernandez. As you're watching this, you want to look her up. What an incredible journey.
Baskets and beads, baby.
Baskets and Beads. Baskets and Beads, Kenya.
And let me tell you something. I buy her products
out.
and give them away as gifts, and people are like, oh my God, I love this. So, yeah, it's great to see.
It's incredible craftsmanship.
It is. It is. But that's part of the journey. It's not all dollars and cents. I mean, I know that I count dollars and cents, and it's important. But, I believe the people that I've surrounded myself, people like you, Craig, John Limbacher, Eldana, Larry Broughton, I'm like, my grandmother told me when I was 17, you're not hanging out with the right people. And I woke up one day and I was like, why didn't I listen? Well, I guess she planted a seed, right? And she was right. You got to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, and also people that, like in my mastermind, we get a lot of brand new people that have no idea what they're doing, and they say that. They're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then some people, you see them a year, 2 years, and you're like, oh my God, they're not the same person. And that's rewarding.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's very rewarding. As we're riding the wave of chaos through 2021 that got launched in, by everything that happened in 2020, what's another mistake that you see entrepreneurs making that's fighting, keeping them from being able to thrive in the post-COVID environment?
Feeling sorry for themselves. Especially new business owners, because what happens. You come in, you're all hyped up. You're like, yeah, I'm going to conquer the world. And then about 9 months later, you're like, what the heck did I get myself into?
It's like, oh no, what have I done?
And they beat themselves up. They think they're the only ones going through that. And a lot of them give up. And that's the mistake. There's no failure is inevitable. Accept it. It's going to be tough. And I try, a lot of times I've scared people out of going into business, because I said, you just don't have the toughness. You don't have the tenacity. Okay. It's not going to be easy. And that's a mistake. Wow. So when you go into business, you got to be prepared. I learned a lot from Larry Broughton. Okay. He wrote a chapter in my first book on tenacity. And I can't tell you how many times I went back to that. Because we all, I've had highs and lows, times where I said, oh my God, how did I, what did I do? What decisions did I make? And then I go back and I said, you know what? Everything was perfect. It's the way it was supposed to be. And I just gotta keep moving, keep going forward. That's how winning is done. It almost sounds like
tenacity is just as important as knowing your numbers.
Tenacity is more important, to be honest with you. It's more important.
More important. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, just real quick, I want to thank Dennis Nurmela is joining us from China. Hey, Dennis, good to hear from you, my friend.
I love China.
He has been in, not too far from ground zero in China since before the whole COVID pandemic started. So
wow,
it's great to hear from him.
That's tough.
An entrepreneur that's been teaching for several years in China, teaching English.
Cool. I'm actually learning Chinese now. Ni hao.
Excellent.
I know I'm learning the numbers. I know how to count up to actually probably 100 in Chinese.
Whoa. Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
It's another thing, like, I don't even know why I started, but I can't stop. And I'm like, it's just exercising my brain.
Yeah, that's very true, which is important.
And then when I finally go to China, I'll be able to talk.
I think I'm in a cycle where I'm forgetting stuff, where I keep forgetting stuff. So I just look at that as I'm making room to learn new things.
Oh, it's still there, believe me. It's still there. Nothing leaves. It's embedded. Our brains are like computers.
It's lost in the attic someplace.
Yeah.
Right. Dennis agrees. Always be learning new things.
Yeah. So what else can I tell
Joe,
you?
one of the things I wanted to also ask you about, you have an event coming up. You have an event coming up, don't you, in June?
Yeah, June 15th.
That focuses more on how to, really.
We're going to talk about generating cash flow, okay, and being able to pay yourself more. And that's what it comes down to. We have a business so that we could pay ourselves. I love being in business. I love what I do. I love helping people. But, I'm going to be transparent here. I'm a CPA. I'm running a business. I have advisors, and they're looking at my numbers. And one of them said, well, where's your salary? Where is your pay? I forgot to put me in there. I was like, oh my God. What? Yeah. If wake up call.
Yeah.
And we all go through. I'm an entrepreneur. And that's why I said I need other people to look at my numbers so I can be accountable. And they found a lot of stuff. So my team, my advisors are helping me increase my cash flow. Okay. And that's by design. And that's what we want to do for everyone. It's, we start with the basic bookkeeping and accounting because that's the foundation. But we're going to go into things like getting government grants and using a nonprofit like Eldana is to make the world a better place and increase your cash flow at the same time, right? Tax credits, yes. Things that regular folks don't know about, they don't have time to think about, but this is what we do on a daily basis.
Well, and it seems you bring a different perspective as a CPA because you really are an entrepreneur. And as you're watching this, Joe had made a comment. He and I have known each other for a number of years. And one of the things that I heard Dan Kennedy say a while back was that, the difference between a business owner and an entrepreneur is you meet a business owner, talk to them about what they're doing. If you don't see them for 2 years and meet them again, they're pretty much doing the same thing.
We're born entrepreneurs. I really, truly believe that. Somebody could learn how to run a business and be a business owner, like you said. There's franchises. There's plenty of people that are in business but aren't entrepreneurs. I never heard that explained like that. But you're absolutely right. I mean, look at Eldana. She started out as the pink biker chick.
Yes.
Okay, and a lot of people in our group have transformed and reinvented themselves.
And I've gone through that cycle as well. From consulting to doing adventure summits to running a media company. It's just you follow the opportunities where they lead, see where we can provide value in the marketplace, and go for it. Right.
It's funny because I was in a networking thing today, and the question was everybody had to say something that they did that nobody else probably did. and the woman, one of the women said she went whitewater drafting. And I brought you up. I said, oh my God. I said,
drafting?
I'm whitewater rafting. Did I say drafting? What,
Yeah,
whitewater rafting?
so I was picturing her being drugged through the rapids behind the boat or something crazy like that.
So I said,
or
that's something
being
I'm
towed on an
do.
inner tube behind one of the rafts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they made me realize that another woman, she was really overweight. And she said, I went, what's that thing when you're zip lining? And I said, I have a friend.
Zip lining, yes.
I said, I have a friend, Jeffrey Wolf. He does these crazy weekend adventures. And if I wanted to, I can go bungee jumping and, and I said, I need to hook up with Jeff.
We ziplined we ziplined the Olympic ski jump in Park City, Utah.
Oh my God.
In 2019.
But this woman said
it was crazy.
She's like, oh my gosh. She was like, it was great. So I got to do it, Jeff. We're going to have to connect.
Yes. Yes. Now with your event on June 15th, that's increased cash flow and pay yourself more. How long is that going to be? A day-long event or is it a half day?
No. We usually go like 2 hours and then we'll do questions and answers.
Oh, okay. I like that. Very hands-on.
Yeah. Yeah. We want to make sure that people, it's a lot of content. It's a lot of content. I go through it pretty quickly and, people have questions and then I give them an opportunity to connect with me afterwards if they want to dig deeper.
Sure. And we're almost out of time. So I wanted to, make sure that we get the message out about that. As you're watching this, the link is in the comments, the description for this live stream on how to connect, how to register for that event. And it's going to be on June 15th. So it's 2 hours plus Q&A. So you get a chance to get some info and then talk with, ask questions and discuss how to apply it specifically to your business so that you can increase your cash flow and pay yourself more. I mean, that's really, it's kind of important in the entrepreneurial world and something that's too easily forgotten about.
I think we lose track of it, to be honest. I mean, I did. I was like, wait a second. I'm not on the, when am I getting paid?
Yes.
I'm so busy.
You mean I can actually make money and get paid doing this? Holy cow.
Yeah. That's the story. I'm sticking with it.
So that's on June 15th. And Joe, I know you've got a busy schedule and want to respect your time. And I promised you we'd be done by 30 minutes after. And we're about there. So as you're watching this, go to the link in the description for this live stream and click through, click that link. Gives you the info on how to register for Joe's workshop. It's 2 hours long on June 15th, how to increase your cash flow and pay yourself more. And, click the like button, give us your comments on this conversation. And also, love to hear your feedback on the workshop as well. So Joe, thanks for joining us. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. Wish we had more time.
Thank you.
That's one of the big challenges in entrepreneurial life too, right? There's never enough time for everything.
Nope. I should maybe, you know what? I'm going to cover that in my webinar because that's a black hole. Our time, right?
Yes.
You don't manage your time properly, you're throwing money away. Thank you for the suggestion.
Yep. You're very welcome. Glad to be of service.
Thank you, Jeff.
And thank you for joining us for Wolf's Watch. Dennis Nurmela, thank you, my friend. It's always great to hear from you. Live with us from China. Holy cow. Have a great evening. And we will, I'm Wolf. Thanks for joining us for Wolf's Watch. And I will see you on the trail.